Have you ever watched your children do something or heard them say something and wonder where in the world they picked it up at? Today, we're going to talk about children's behavior and the examples that we set for them and how it pertains to parenting. I've always been fascinated with wondering how children develop, and more directly, how much of their development is a natural occurrence or a product of their influence and surroundings. Even before I was married, I would find myself wondering how much of myself is something that just naturally became me and how much of it is a product of the surroundings I grew up in, the people I grew up around, the influence that my parents left on me. And now that I have children, I look at them and I'm just amazed at how much of their instincts or how much of their behavior really is a natural product of the way that God has designed them. They're fearfully and wonderfully made in the image of God, and the way that they latch onto things, the way that they develop, truly is a beautiful gift of nature. My son gravitates towards things that most boys his age gravitate. My daughter naturally gravitates towards things that girls her age gravitate towards. It's not like we have to push them in one direction or the other. They just are that way. But then it opens up the question how much of their behavior is a product of what they've witnessed and how they've been brought up. A lot of times you might hear your child say something and wonder what is influencing them in this way. Why are they acting the way that they're acting? And sometimes it's you. As parents, we have a tendency to grow immune to the effect that we have on our children. We may not always be aware of the impact that we're leaving on them. But the thing you have to remember is that kids learn more from what they witness than what they are told or taught. There's a lot of the things that I say, the way that I say them, the things that I do, and the way that I interact with other people that they witness that they are going to latch onto. So you can teach them, do as I say, but not as I do. That was a big one when I was growing up, and it's understandable when it's something as a parent I've come to understand that it's okay. You may not fully understand this, and I can't explain it to you. So I need you to just do it and not worry about the reason why, because eventually you'll get older and you'll understand. But it should never be used in a capacity of I would never let this fly, but because I've given myself a pass, it's okay for me. But if you see me doing it, just ignore that because it's not okay for you. Our children's behavior is heavily influenced by the way that we speak to them and the way that we speak to each other. If I show love and kindness and compassion towards my children, towards my wife, towards the people around me, then they'll pick up on that and they'll understand that that is the way that they relate to other people. If I am aggressive, if I'm impatient, if I'm frustrated, if I talk to their mother like she's, subhuman in some way or just don't show respect, then they will think it's okay to talk to her in that way or talk to me in that way. And then when I come at them and say, "Why are you talking to me that way?" then they really don't understand that statement at all because all they know is what they've seen me do. We have to be intentional about the behavior that we demonstrate that our kids witness. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." And a lot of people have taken that passage and said, well, that's more about their spiritual upbringing, that it's about how you teach them to go to church all the time or how you teach them to read the Bible on a consistent basis. And all of those things are great, but it's much deeper than that. This verse speaks to the intentionality that you need to personify the kind of example that they need to come up as godly children and eventually raise godly children of their own. And I'm not talking about just setting an example for example's sake. There is so much example already set in the Bible. What we are instructed as parents to do is to embody those examples, let them become who we are. So the consistency with teaching our children is strong. We don't have a whole lot of a leg to stand on as parents when we say one thing but yet do another. None of this is truly possible if we aren't intentionally seeking God in our relationship with our spouse, in our relationship with our children, in our relationship with other people. If we aren't asking daily for God to fill us with the Holy Spirit and give us patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, all of these things, if we aren't asking God to fill us in this way, then we will not display that for the people around us. So it starts with our godly daily walk, the way that we build our relationship with God, and then how we ask Him to fill us with the Holy Spirit so that we can intentionally pour out, spill out into our children's lives, pour out, spill out into our spouse's life, and create the kind of harmony that the household needs so that we can be growing constantly. The next time your child says something that's a little bit off the wall or does something that does not demonstrate the kind of behavior they should, you need to start with analyzing yourself. Are these traits that you are demonstrating to them that they are picking up on? If so, you need to have a serious conversation with yourself and with God to fix that, to straighten it out, and then talk to them about it. Hold yourself accountable. Be intentional in setting that example. And anything else, whether it be outside influences, if they come to you and say, well, so and so said it, or I saw it on TV or whatever, you can actually speak to why it's not acceptable because of the way that you demonstrate your life. Ask God to fill you with the Holy Spirit, and He will pour all over your family the greatest blessings when it comes to behavior, respect, and all different mannerisms that these children need to develop as they get older.